I want to champion my fellow brothers and sisters who are part of the awesome storytelling that we're giving for everybody to see that aren't being seen or noticed for it, because being a stunt double is cool, but you're not given the credit
Right.
that a lot of people, everybody wants to sell the idea that they did their own stunts. It's a whole team to make the character Black Panther in a sense, right? It's not just me, the stunt double, and Chadwick Boseman. It's also the wardrobe people
Right.
that are designing the costumes. It's the people that are doing the lighting. It's the people that drew the comic. So I want people to really understand, like, it's a team effort,
Right.
and we should champion every person on that team.
Welcome back to Nerd Alert. This is Kyle Treadwell here with the lovely Gui Dasilva.
I'm lovely.
If you don't know, is one of the craziest stuntman that I've ever got the pleasure to be able to see some of his work. He has doubled Black Panther. He has done so many awesome things on YouTube, from animates in real life to working with the Quarter Crew on the Stuntman Reacts. As always, welcome.
Hey, man, good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm lovely. That's a great, man. We started the day nice. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that a lot. We spoke a while ago, but it was during the strike.
Correct.
Which is crazy because now we're back in another strike, but this one's for video games.
Oh, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, we just got in the strike for it, which is so interesting. It's like, wow, it's a strike again, another SAG strike, but at least now I can still do movies.
Right.
And we can talk about this kind of stuff still, which is awesome. So I'm really excited.
You've done some work on some of these AAA video games and doing stunts for that. Is that all just motion capture?
It's all motion capture stuff.
Your experience with that, how did you even get started in that? Was it just someone asked you to go from a stunt set to a video game set, or did you start in one or the other?
Honestly, it came from me working on Captain America Winter Soldier.
Uh-huh.
I met a guy named Phil Silvera. We were working the elevator scene together, and he is in with this company. The company is Blur. Tim Miller, the same director who made like Deadpool and stuff. They were doing the cinematic opening for Thor 2.
Okay.
And they brought me in to do that. And then from that point forward, I got put into Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
I did a little bit of the Halo remaster.
Nice.
Dishonored 2. Which was really cool. And then now everybody knows because of the announcement that I've been working on Call of Duty.
Okay.
So that was kind of like, it took film set to get me into the video game world. I've been in the video game world for pretty much as long as I've been in the stunt world.
So does that come with any voice acting as well, or is it just stunts? And
at the moment, no voice stuff yet, but we're working on it. Thank you, Victoria Atkin. And mainly performance capture stuff though. So I've gotten into like where they do the facial capture. So I might not be the voice, but it's my facials that they're taking. So I have to learn the lines anyway and perform all this stuff.
So you're this close from.
I'm like this close. I was so close to being the guy on for Black Ops, which was pretty cool. That wanted to be like one of the guys close enough to do that.
Cover athlete next year.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get that Madden curse.
Yeah. With all that being said, you come from the stunt world. What really got you into that to begin with? Was it just you like jumping off, like you were just fearless as a kid, you like jumping off stuff? Or did you start as like a martial artist and then they learned certain things like that?
It is definitely the latter. I grew up doing martial arts my whole life. I wanted to be Bruce Lee.
Okay.
I luckily had a mother who was in the performing arts.
Mm-hmm.
She did Broadway, she did Spike Lee movies. So she dragged me around all those kind of things, her dance classes, and I fell in love with dance with that. And eventually, I found who Jackie Chan was.
Right.
So you start with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is the gateway drug. Then you find the Shaw Brother movies. You find Jet Li. You find Jackie Chan. And I read about Jackie Chan being a stuntman, which is like when I'm like 17 or 18 years old now. I've been doing martial arts my whole life. I've been doing parkour. I've been doing gymnastics. I've been doing all these activities all throughout New York. And a friend of mine, Jim Ng and John Trui, they were at a gym called Aviator. They were supposed to do a fight with a friend, and that friend didn't show up. So they asked me to come in and fill in. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And from that point on, I fell in love with doing fight scenes.
Okay.
And that kind of segued into me moving to LA and trying to pursue the career. But in between that was dancing behind Chris Rock.
Okay. So in that same respect, I saw that you had done some work on the I Can Transform You music.
Yeah.
And was that your first music video that you did with Chris, or were you working with him prior to that?
I was working with him. Well, spoiler alert, me and Chris are cousins.
Okay.
We grew up in New York. When he moved to New York from Virginia in Harlem, we would run around and hang out and stuff. I'd teach him how to flip, and that's how me and him got close, with the comic books and the martial arts and the flipping stuff.
Love that.
And I remember my first trip to LA was during my senior summer of high school. I went out to LA, and I'm just hanging out, and I'm hanging out with people like Anil Sherfa, Daniel Graham. You know them as the stunt doubles they're the other two stunt doubles that have been Black Panther along with it. And they were my roommates when I first went to LA.
Oh, wow.
Which is also a pretty fun story. And this was Blue Beetle. He's also Snake Eyes. Danny's Black Panther, and he's also one of Will Smith's doubles for Bad Boys.
Oh, wow.
Hanging out with them, turns out Chris is doing a music video. And my big cousin, his bigger brother, was like, yo, Chris is doing a music video, you should get in it. And he's like, I'll link you two up. And Chris was like, yeah, you should come in. And it turned out to be the I Can Transform You video, and all those guys were there. All my friends were already in it, and Chris was like, why don't you just do this thing with me? So me and him did the nunchuck. We choreographed the nunchuck thing together during everybody's lunch break, and we did it for the music video, which was really fun.
That's sick.
Yeah. It was a cool moment.
I would say you have more of a voice for people behind the scenes than others that are in the space.
Right.
Do you find that there's a responsibility that you have to kind of shed light on other stunt performers or other behind the scenes aspect to like really make sure people get some credit that they deserve on things? And
absolutely, I want to champion my fellow brothers and sisters who are part of the awesome storytelling that we're giving for everybody to see that aren't being seen or noticed for it, because I mean, being a stunt double is cool, but you're not given the credit that a lot of people, everybody wants to sell the idea that they did their own stunts. It's a whole team to make the character Black Panther in a sense, right? It's not just me, the stunt double, and Chadwick Boseman. It's also the wardrobe people that are designing the costumes. It's the people that are doing the lighting. It's the people that drew the comic. So I want people to really understand, like, it's a team effort, and we should champion every person on that team. Like, we don't just, we talk about Michael Jordan, right? But we also know 95 Bulls. We know that team. So it's like, let's talk about the whole team.
Exactly. And that's something that I've been trying to do a lot with my social media.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah, I want to shed light on people that are behind the scenes, because as a graphic designer, I do stuff for some of the coolest people on the planet. But like, I can't go and actively tell you about it. Or like, sometimes I have NDAs on like not being able to like talk about it. And that's unfortunate, because I know some great designers that have done some really cool stuff that I have been able to showcase them. But like on Instagram, I can be like, no, this is the guy that did this.
Exactly.
And that's really cool. And I appreciate that you're trying to do that in the stunt reality too as well.
But you never know who will actually look at this and then say, this, actually, I really want to do this thing. And wow, it feels validating to be appreciated for doing the thing that I want to do. And then you get more people that are in this space loving this stuff. So the point is to inspire, right? So hopefully by watching videos like this, interviews like this, we inspire the next 12 kids that are going to now be stunt performers or going to go off and be graphic designers.
In that same breath, if someone was trying to become a stunt performer, what would be the tips or trick that you can give them to help someone get a bit ahead besides just learning to be not afraid to jump off stuff?
You can be afraid to jump off stuff.
Okay.
It's okay to be afraid to jump off stuff. What's not okay is to let fear stop you from jumping off.
Okay.
Because I hate heights. I'm not a fan of heights, but every job I've done has put me somewhere high to jump off. It's not like that's not human. Our body naturally does not want us to do that. So it makes sense. But the things I would say, if you're in America, we're a very specialty-based kind of stunt community where you can come in being really good at one thing that is needed for a particular film, and then they'll teach you everything else as you go. Because they're like, oh, we need a guy who's really good at doing gymnastics. We need him to double this actor. So now you're in and you're doing all the gymnastic stuff.
Right.
And then while you're there, they're like, okay, we're going to teach you how to do a fight film. We're going to teach you how to, and you just be a student to all that stuff.
Do you ever see yourself running like your own stunt house or your own like stunt production team or anything of the sort?
Honestly, a dream of mine would be to have like a Gui Dasilva stunt team, but it's in the same sense of how Jackie Chan has a stunt team.
Okay.
A group of amazing guys that will come in and be performers, but at the same time, I want to provide a space for them all to grow and to be wherever they want to be in the film industry, where they director, actor, producer, and just stem from stunts, of course, first, and provide awesome action.
Do you have like a notebook of stunts that you've always wanted to do that you haven't done? Or
I had a list.
Okay.
I've checked off almost everything on that list.
Okay.
The only things left on that list are things that I want to wait to do for when I'm actually the guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that a dream of yours to step from behind the stunts to a like main role in a movie?
Absolutely. There's not many people that I feel look like me that do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about, especially in the forefront, we had Wesley Snipes, we had Michael Jai White. There's someone missing in the next generation, and I feel like that's me. So I'm trying to fill in that gap.
You just told me prior to us sitting down that you had some scenes in Deadpool vs. Wolverine.
Yeah.
What is that?
So it's funny because Marvel's very cryptic about how they handle things.
Okay.
I just got an email literally this morning saying like, hey, we're going to need to get a release form from you. I'm like, for what? They're like, oh, for a movie that we're doing. This is I'm a Marvel director, so on and so forth. And I was like, okay. So they sent me the contract, and I look, and I'm reading the contract, and it said Deadpool and Wolverine. And I said, how am I in this movie? I didn't even go to London and shoot this at all. Turns out that they're using footage from Civil War, which, so I guess it's a gift that keeps on giving. A little slice.
Is this the first time where someone has reached out to you after doing a stunt for something else that they reused it for or repurposed it for?
The other time I would say, well, I had to reach out to them, SAG to talk to them about it, was Black Widow.
Oh, okay.
Black Widow, Taskmaster is standing in front of the big screen and is watching clips of Black Panther versus Hawkeye.
Okay.
Which is really cool. I was like, oh, that's dope. That's me. Okay, that's really cool. I was like, they didn't even use that clip in the Civil War film. Like, where they get that, but they got the dailies. That's tight. So it's happened twice now, which is really cool. And shouts to Marvel for being like really cool about it, because honestly, a lot of people would just like, we'll just let that slide, you know?
So have you ever been surprised by seeing yourself, I guess?
Widow was a definite
That's the
surprise.
one?
Yeah, that was the only one. I was
Okay.
like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah.
I got to call somebody about that.
Yeah, I'm like, wait.
With all that, I want to jump into your love of anime.
Oh, yeah.
And as a martial artist, I actually specifically want to ask you about Jujutsu Kaisen. And do you love that as much as the rest of the world does? And what do you love about it?
So I love Jujutsu Kaisen because of the storytelling.
Oh, okay.
I did not expect the story and also the way the art's done, especially in the first season. First season caught me completely off guard. So I was like, what am I watching? And it turned into something really cool.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that aspect of it. I'm big into anime, of course. I'm so deep into anime that I like manga.
Love that
as well. So therefore, I have scoured the earth for all of the martial arts based animes or mangas that there is, and have watched them all.
Okay.
Because why not, right?
Absolutely.
And I think they do a really good job. I think that their hype is not just superficial hype or trendy hype. I think that they actually are telling good stories, and I'm really excited for what they got next. I literally make sure now that I don't watch anything, and I stay off the web of anything that's connected to Jujutsu Kaisen, because I want to watch. I just want to binge it now.
Yeah,
I become such a binger thanks to how society has made that.
Absolutely,
it's like watching House of Dragons hurts.
Yeah,
so, I gotta wait a week.
It's so funny that you say that, because I recently did the whole One Piece journey. Right?
Oh, sick!
So everyone was like being like, "You gotta watch One Piece. You gotta watch all this," and I was like, okay, it took me a year and a half just binging it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this, I was like, I couldn't imagine waiting week to week. And now that I'm caught up and I'm waiting week to week, I'm like, I can't even do this.
Right. I gotta wait. Yeah. I usually purge myself for like a good 2 months, 3 months. That way I have at least like 12 episodes to watch. If I get at least 12 episodes to watch of One Piece, I'm happy. But getting through, like I tell all my friends, and I have this fight with this guy all the time. I'm like, bro, watch it. It's not good. I'm like, it's good. He's like, if I have to wait till episode 201, it's not good. I'm like, bro, it's character building.
Character development.
It's character development and world building.
What's your friend's name?
His Nate. Hi, Nate. What's up?
Watch One Piece. That's all I gotta say.
Right. If you can watch Naruto, if you can watch Dragon Ball Z, you can watch One Piece.
Absolutely.
But they have the same amount of episodes. Same amount. Just watch it. You'll appreciate it at the end.
Of course. I promise you, it's worth the journey. And as you get into these newer episodes, you're gonna be like, wow, I can't believe that I finally like made it here, and we're finally here.
Yes. And now they're doing a shortened version.
Yeah, I saw that.
You guys are lucky.
Yeah, they're cutting out all the filler.
I had to go through all that.
So, My Hero.
Yeah.
Have you watched this season?
No, I'm reading it.
You're reading it?
Yeah, I ruined myself by reading it.
Oh my goodness.
I ruined myself by reading the manga. I do that a lot sometimes. I tend to love an anime, and then I'll jump into the manga, and then I'll stop watching the anime because the manga is so good.
Okay.
And then I'll come back to it later. I'm like, let me finish. Like I did that with Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
I love Demon Slayer. I couldn't wait.
It's my favorite.
Couldn't wait.
It's my favorite of all time. And I love Demon Slayer so much, but I don't know how I feel about the movies being the last 3 arcs.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
So I think it's cool because you're probably going to get a higher budget. You're probably going to have a higher runtime, but I don't know if they're going to do it like the Mugen Train, where it's like they're going to do the movie first and then break it
season. Yeah.
So, but I think that 3 arcs that are left are worth doing in a movie style, and they have clearly shown that they can make money at the box office.
Absolutely.
So that being said, I am super excited about that. I'm just not sure. I think it's the first anime to ever do something like
that. Yeah. It's really cool. It's a really cool idea. The only thing I can say without spoiling is I hope they change the ending.
Okay.
I hope they do a different ending.
In that same breath, people that have read the manga and have got that way, do you think that they would be offended if the ending changed?
Well, I think they'd be happy because that's why I want them to change it.
Okay, so you feel like it doesn't actually end very well.
I don't think the ending is as good as it could be. Okay. I think the anime, with how much hype they have, that they potentially will do a better ending.
So, but hopefully not Game of Thrones, right?
Please don't Game of Thrones it. Whatever you do, don't Game of Thrones. If you're watching, don't Game of Thrones it. I wish I knew Japanese at this moment.
Talk straight down Global. Now that we talked about your love about anime, you've done anime in real life.
Yeah.
Was that something that you had thought of and like pitched to someone to be a part of, or did someone reach out to you and be like, hey, we need someone to do this My Hero short? Or
it was a collaborative effort. I've known Chris Cowan for almost as long as I've been in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Which is since I was 19 years old. I'm 34 now. And he had a group called 1,000 Pounds, and we've worked together a bunch of times on different shorts and different IP ideas and stuff like that. And he had just got back from, I think he was in London for a long stint working on Han Solo, working on Kingsman 2, working on the prequel Kingsman movie. And it was like, okay, you're back. You've been an action designer. Let's go and create something. Let's go and like actually do something really fun. And he was like, I got this idea. At first it was going to be Sean versus Eddie Gordo. We were going to a Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Oh, okay.
That was the original plan. And it was going to be me and versus Lateef Crowder, who is like Eddie Gordo in real life. Which is so cool. Shout out to Lateef. He's also the Mandalorian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Really, really talented performer. You see him in Tony Jaa movies. You've seen him. You've seen him, right? He's one of those.
Why we're shining lights.
Exactly. Which is really dope. Chris was like, all right, before we do the big one with Lateef, let's do something to like warm up. I was like, okay, cool. Like, what are you thinking? He's like, I don't know. Let's find a song. So one day I said, you know what? I'm gonna just bother you. I'm gonna stay with you for a whole day and we're gonna figure it out. We sat around and we just started playing music to one another because he likes to, his process is heavily inspired by music.
Okay.
So we're like, all right, cool. Like, what do you think about this song? What do you think about this song? And literally it's been 5 hours. We haven't found a song that helps him with a vision. And he's like, all right, well, what do you want to do? I was like, well, it'll be cool to do something with like a book bag. I want to do something kind of Jackie Chan-ish where I'm using a different type of item as a weapon. He was like, okay, cool. That's cool. And I was like, you know what? Like, maybe we'll just try this again tomorrow. I'll come bother you again tomorrow. And he didn't want me to bother him again tomorrow. He's like, I've been willing to use this soundtrack. And he starts playing the My Hero soundtrack.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm down. Okay, let's do why don't we do something in the vein of My Hero Academia then? Let's use the world and make our own thing, and we can make a character that uses a backpack. And he's like, yeah, all right, well, I can do this kind of effect and stuff like that. So it could be a teleportation thing. And we're both, and he's a big Naruto nerd.
Nice.
So he loves Minato. So we kind of were like, all right, let's try to blend. Let's make this character where he can teleport and we're like, all right, we'll throw the bag, and he teleports to the bag, and he's like, all right, what's the story? I'm like, well, we should do like the first time the main character decides to be a hero, right? It's that moment that, well, I can't think of his name right now. Deku.
I was gonna help you, but
I appreciate that. I'm gonna find it. So Deku has that moment where he goes and saves his friend. And it's like, why did you do it? And he's like, I just moved. And it's like, that's the moment where you become a hero.
Right.
So the idea was, let's put our character in a moment that is like, this is your first time actually using your skills to do something heroic.
Okay.
And it turned into the wallet. I called Nathan. I called a bunch of people, actually. I was like, hey, are you around? No. Hey, are you around? No. I said, Nathan, you around? He's like, yo, I'm available after 5 p.m. I'm working right now. I was like, okay, cool. Come by over the Chris's. We'll start choreographing. And he came through that day. We choreographed, and then we were shooting the next day.
Wow. So
And it was just a small snip. We were just supposed to do like a little bit of that first piece, part one, with the slam and him grabbing the wall and putting it in his pocket. That was the end of it.
Oh, wow.
Right. And it would happen to happen. It happened to come out right before Anime Expo. And because of Anime Expo and that timing, everybody was like, where's the rest of it? We need more. We need more. We need more. And Chris was like, damn, we do more? I was like, yeah, we should do more. He's like, but what do we do? I was like, well, you got to bring in the real baddie. I helped bring in Mark Michione, Jaquan. Mark Michione was Snapback, the guy who can burst in speed. Jaquan was Heki, who does all the arsenal stuff. He switches his weapons out. And then my close friend Cleo, we were talking, and I was like, no, I think Cleo will be down to do it. I was like, Cleo, would you be into this? He's like, I've never played a villain before. Fuck yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
And I was like, Chris, we got Cleo. He's like, what, really? I was like, yeah. And so from that point on, we just started steamrolling. Wow. And our buddy Haley Lee came in. He's a really cool nerd as well, Blurred. He spent a few years in Japan, so he also speaks fluent Japanese.
Wow.
So he helped with the Japanese translation. And he's also a director at heart, but a writer. And so he helped us write out like the dialogue and story that we're going to do. And then we built a whole universe that we are still pitching and hoping that one day somebody would be like, hell yeah, you guys, let's fund it, let you guys do it.
Okay.
So
that's still something that can be built out.
It's still something that it's already ready. We have the first 2 seasons, and we have the first pilot written.
Nice.
So we're ready to go whenever somebody's like, hey, we want to do it.
Okay. So your YouTube adventures, we've got to talk about your connection to Corridor.
Yeah.
One, super fan. Love all the guys over there.
They're so great.
It's so cool to be able to like see the behind the scenes of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's actually where I first saw and learned about you. So
thank you, Nico. Thank you, Corridor. I appreciate that.
So I want to ask, how did you get linked up with them to begin with?
Oh man. So you remember they did Captain America Rated R? They did the Civil War thing. So they were editing that. They were creating that while a buddy of mine, Westgood, director Wesley Armstrong, he was making a little sketch in their little shipping entrance area. And he walked in, he was like, what are you guys working on? They were like, oh, we're working on this, Civil War. And he's like, my boy was the Black Panther double in that. They're like, what? No way. They introduced me to them again. And the funny thing is, I've worked with them before. They did a Rayman short a long time ago in the beginnings of my career that Eric Linden brought me in on.
Okay.
And I was like, I've worked with you guys before. But yeah, that's me. And the scene that you guys are doing right now with like, really, like, you got to come and do your own sound for it. I was like, oh, dope. And then that just led to the conversation of them bringing me. They're like, hey, you want to come on and do Stuntman React? You can talk about your career, look at clips and stuff like that. I was like, cool. And just the relationship built. Me and Nico became really close friends. Such a cool dude. We go riding bikes together. I was there when he broke his collarbone. And it's just been a really fun relationship and friendship, that we just build off of.
That's super neat. I've always been curious about that because I know that they started with the VFX stuff.
Yeah.
It was one of the coolest ideas that I think has happened over the last 10 years in YouTube to begin.
Yes.
And it was half the reason why I felt inspired to shine lights and artists in my area too as well. because I think that it's really awesome to learn the behind the scenes, especially if you want to work in this industry.
Absolutely.
But seeing the first Stuntman episode, I was like, oh, these guys like get the shit kicked out of them.
Sometimes it sucks.
And like that was something that I didn't know about that. I thought you guys, lit yourself on fire or like jumped across stuff, but seeing that like you're taking sometimes like full punches to the like gut and to the face, and like you just have to get up and do it again.
Yep.
And like learning that aspect like really made me appreciate all of these stunts and these routines and people that are like really putting all of the stuff together.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate you appreciating her. That means a lot. That means a lot.
Of course. And I think that can bring us to the end of everything. But if there's anything that you want to let the people know at home that you have coming up or anything of the sorts, feel free. I want to just give a moment for you to shine a light on anything that you have coming out.
Oh yeah, thank you. Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for watching this episode. You can find me on Instagram at Gui Dasilva Greene. Also, if you have BET Plus, there are a couple movies out that I am a producer and a lead actor on called Paradise. It's a horror thing. Don't worry if you don't like it. It's okay. But check it out. I'm working on becoming that guy. So any kind of support helps. Also, shirts are coming out soon.
Love that. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.